Hey everyone, welcome back to the Blue Collar Journey. I'm Measure Twice Mike, and in this video you're going to see the progress from where we started to where we ended on our first week for our current project at my regular 40-hour-a-week job as a carpenter apprentice. So without further ado, we started this project off by laying out our windows and establishing a 3/16 inch reveal around the window jambs. For most of the windows, me and a coworker did the measuring and the layout work, while our boss man cut the casing pieces to our measurements. We then pre-assembled the window casings on the floor using two-step glue. Those casing assemblies were cut with a 45-degree miter at all four corners, then sanded and cleaned up before we took them over to the windows. Once we got them to the windows, we field fitted the casings and made the necessary adjustments to maintain that consistent 3/16 of an inch reveal on all four sides. Here you see me and a coworker after we dry fit or field fit the pre-assembled window casing. We go ahead and do our necessary adjustments to the jambs to make that consistent 3/16 inch reveal. And we fastened the casing to the wall with our 18 gauge and 16 gauge nailers. Now here you see me downstairs getting ready to do this downstairs window, and I'm getting the window jamb and everything cleaned up to make sure everything sits flush when we put the casing on. I'm also knocking back and or cutting back some of the drywall that may stick out past the jamb that would affect how the casing assembly sits on there and how tight it sits against the jamb itself. So we remove or push back some of the drywall to get it to sit as flush as possible. And here we had to field assemble the casing because we didn't get the measurements initially when our boss man was cutting everything. So at this point we just went ahead and did the necessary adjustments to the jambs, got our measurements, leaving that 3/16 inch reveal, and field cut and assembled or dry fit the pieces individually. Now here you see a coworker has stepped in after I got all the measurements and the layout done on the jambs, so we know where our 3/16 inch reveal is. It's marked, so we can just get our measurements and cut the trim pieces around it to get that casing. And again, everything is cut with a 45-degree miter and two-step glued as well as we assemble it. And again, we're using our 16 gauge and 18 gauge nailers to fasten this to the window jambs and the wall itself. It is a crown style casing to where the bottom side or the outer edge of it is a little bit thinner than the inner edge. The outer edge is we use the 18 gauge nailers, and the inner edge that's about an inch thick, we use the 16 gauge nailers going directly into the jamb, securely holding that in place. And the two-step glue with the 45-degree miters allows us to keep those miters nice and tight to where the seams are mostly unnoticeable. And then you sand it down to make sure everything's flush all the way around, especially on those miters, because you know some boards can just be slightly thicker than others, even if it's perfectly fit. So you just sand those down, make sure everything's fit properly and flush, and it also helps close those small gaps in the miter.
Oh, beautiful! Today on Trim Talk, on this episode of Trim Talk, somebody forgot their little brownies over here. We must my breakfast. The wheat brownies.
Y'all don't forget, I'm Measure Twice Mike. If you like what you see, like, share, and follow.